The next character that we need to talk about is the first Vanguard that was added to the game since launch, and that is the Thing. I think the Thing is a ton of fun to play. The problem is he is very melee-oriented, which makes sense. He doesn't have really anything in his toolkit that allows him to engage with characters from a distance, but I would wager that he has the same type of issue that Thor does, in the sense that he doesn't really have a great way to mitigate damage. Admittedly, he does have the damage reduction ability by leaping to his allies and making contact with them, but he doesn't really have another way of doing so. And that ultimately brings me to my thoughts on what could be done to make the Thing better by means of giving him another ability. Once again, there's a fairly condensed list of abilities to work with here. We have superhuman strength, stamina, and durability, immortality, and skilled hand-to-hand combatant. Immortality is difficult to work into a hero shooter style game, and the other two are decently well represented, but I think there's more that can be done with the Thing to make him a little bit more impactful. The other problem with the Thing's current build and kit is the fact that he has all of his ability slots filled, and that is what the main thing that I want to talk about is primarily this primary fire that he has, the Rocky Jab. There's not a lot of really great use of this, because everybody uses the Stone Haymaker for more consistent damage, as well as the overhealth that it provides, and the knockdown effect against flying characters that are hit with that very large area of effect strike. So if we were to give the Thing a new ability, I think that it would need to result in the Rocky Jab being removed from his kit entirely. There's not really people that are using it anyway, or it's really just kind of used to clean up those eliminations when you have your targets at a very, very low hit point. But since 90% of what you're using is the Stone Haymaker in his alternate fire anyway, move that to being his primary fire in the way that it behaves and functions. That then frees up a keybind on his right click to put a new ability on. And I think that the way that you do this to make it more impactful and beneficial for his teammates is you have on a decently lengthy cooldown an ability that allows him to kind of slam down into the ground and create rocky outcroppings that provide some natural cover for his teammates. And as he slams down into the ground, he collects a piece of rubble that he can then hold out in front of him to prevent himself from taking damage. Now, obviously, that is something that would need to be destructible. It'd have to have a health bar associated with it. But if you re-engage that right click while you have that rock in your hand, then I think you should be able to throw that at an enemy, whether that be a grounded enemy or an airborne enemy or whatever else that might be. And maybe you do it in the same kind of way where if it hits an airborne enemy, it gives them stun or knockdown or potentially a combination of both. And that could apply to any of the enemies that are on the ground as well. But it would give the Thing a more dynamic feel to his playstyle while also being able to help his teammates in reducing the damage that they take in the engagements that they walk into behind Thing, as well as expanding the Thing's kit in a way that feels impactful and beneficial, in my opinion. But what do you think? Is there a different change that you would like to see made to the Thing? I would be very interested in hearing your thoughts in the comments down below, as he feels like one of the least impactful tanks in the game at present, and I'd really like to see a change made that helps him not feel as left behind as he currently is. If you've made it this far into the video, feel free to leave a like, follow, and share with someone who may enjoy taking place in this discussion, and we'll be back to talk about the next character tomorrow.